Hi, this is Neil Kingham here from neilkingham.com, and today I wanted to tell you about a very effective way that you can use self-acupressure at home to really help to reduce your stress and anxiety levels. Now, self-acupressure is a very simple technique and comes under the domain really of self-tuina. Now, tuina is the Chinese massage style that incorporates a lot of acupressure within it. And very, very lovely thing to receive from someone else, but equally very easy for you to do at home yourself. It's quite easy to press different points or to work along the channels or meridians in different ways. And it can be a very, very effective thing to do for yourself, for all sorts of reasons, for overall health maintenance, but also particularly for stress and anxiety levels. Now, one of the main points for its real calming, relaxing effect is called the bubbling spring. And this is the acupoint kidney 1, so it's the first point on the kidney channel. And it's located right on the sole of the foot. So it's just below the balls of the foot, in the middle, where you can see the pronounced depression. So there's quite a dip there for most people. Now, as the lowest point on the body, the effects of this point are very much that it has a lowering effect. So it's said to lower excessive yang from the head. And what that means is really that it takes our energy away from our head, brings it down the body. And when we're suffering from stress and anxiety, of course, we are very much up in our heads with racing thoughts and worries and concerns and things like that. So to draw that energy down, away from the head and back down into its more natural home, lower down in the body, is very, very useful. So great are the calming effects of this point that one of the traditional indications for kidney 1 was that it should be used for people who have rage with desire to kill, which comes from the old classic texts. Now, of course, you don't have to be that worked up to use this point, but it's just a good indication of how certainly the ancient Chinese saw the calming, relaxing effects of this point. So, how do we use it? Well, as with any acupoint, there's a few ways. Of course, it can be stimulated with acupuncture with a needle, although of course I don't recommend you do that at home. But it's one of the better points, I think, for physical manipulation. In actual fact, it does hurt a little bit, if I'm honest, when it's needled, but very, very suitable for manipulation by yourself, with your hands. So the simplest way is simply to get hold of your foot and just press. Just use your thumb or one of your fingers just to press into the point. And you can just hold that pressure, a sort of a firmish pressure. Just either, if you're familiar with energy work or if you've had acupuncture before, you may be able to notice the de qi sensation when the point becomes active. You may feel it like a kind of a heaviness, maybe a kind of a dull ache, not painful, but just a sort of a dull aching feeling, or some people get more like a kind of tingling or kind of electric-y sensation, something like that. If you're not familiar with that sensation, it can be a little bit hard to sort of tune into, to notice whether it's there. So you can just hold that pressure for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or so, and do the same on each side. If you prefer, instead of just a static pressure, instead of just pressing in, you can press and slightly rotate, so you make small circles, either with finger or thumb. And some people find that more effective. You can also you don't have to focus too much in on that point. And most people find a foot massage a very, very relaxing thing to receive. And so in terms of Chinese medicine, we could explain that with the same descending action, that by stimulating the feet and also focusing our attention on the feet, we have this effect of clearing down the chi from the head, so it goes all the way down to the feet, very calming and relaxing. So just getting someone to give you a foot massage if you can, or if not, still very good to do yourself. And you don't really need any special technique. You can, rub, squeeze, press, anything you like really, just to get the blood flowing, and both physically and mentally you kind of get your attention down into your feet just by massaging and rubbing and squeezing. Now you can also stimulate this point in lots of other ways. One of the things the Chinese do is a traditional thing. If they're having trouble sleeping, then before bed what they do is they actually soak their feet in warm water, and then once they've done that for a little while, dry them off and then give them a massage and focus particularly on this kidney 1 point. So that's quite a nice thing to do. If you've got a dedicated foot bath, then of course you can use that, but failing that, just a bowl of warm water or something would be quite nice. And of course if you wanted to, you could put some something in there, maybe some lavender essential oil or something like that, or something else, maybe a nice smell that you find relaxing. Now you can also stimulate really any of the acupuncture points, not so much physically but mentally. There's a saying in Chinese medicine that the chi follows the mind. So the idea is wherever you send your mind, that's where your chi follows. So if you send your mind to your feet, then your chi goes to the feet. So this is another way of stimulating the point, but without physically touching and squeezing, but mentally sending your energy down to your feet to descend it away from the head. Now there's a few different ways of doing that. They're no more difficult, but they take a little bit more practice, a little bit more explaining. So for now, stick to the physical, I would say, is probably easiest. So you can either do this as a routine, so maybe once a day or a couple of times a day, just get in the habit of just a bit of pressure or squeezing on this point, kidney 1. Or you can just do it when you need it. It may not be such an easy thing to do if you're in the office or driving a car or something, to suddenly start pressing a point on your foot, but nevertheless you can use it that way. If you feel stressed, you feel anxious, you feel tense, try just giving your feet a rub, and particularly on this kidney 1 point, and just use it as an excuse to give yourself a few minutes to chill out, take some deep breaths, and allow the chi to descend from the head back down. Now this is just one of the stress relieving points. There's lots of other ones that we could talk about. There's Bai Hui here on the top of the head, there's Yin Tang between the eyebrows, there's a couple of points around the wrist actually, on the outside of the wrist and the heart channel, and more on the inside of the arm here on the pericardium channel, and a few other ones further down the body as well. We don't have time to talk about all of them today, but this is something we're going to cover in loads more detail in the Stress Management Masterclass, and including, for the first time ever, I'm going to teach my own personal self-Tuinar routine that I use to manage my own stress levels. Now this is something I've come up with over the past few years, and it's a routine of breathing exercises and self-Tuinar, self-Acupressure, which I've put together to really be a relaxing, calming routine. Very easy to do. I've never taught it before. It's something I've just used for my own practice, but I'm going to be teaching it for the first time at the Stress Management Masterclass. But for now, take away kidney 1 with you, give it a try. I hope you find it useful, and I'll talk again to you soon.